What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Zamboni. I'm a musician and astrologer, and it is time to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. As always, I thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for sending me a tip via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. That is super helpful to me. It just helps me feel loved and appreciated, and like the work that I'm doing here is worth it to you. So thank you for doing that. If you want a reading like this one, you can go to zambonifunk.com. There's a 10-minute reading, which is a video like this one. There's a 30 or 60-minute reading where we'll meet and we'll talk about what's going on with you. You can go to Patreon and get the electional report, which is a document that is full of dates, mostly dates to avoid. Like, don't start your thing at this time because you will set yourself up for unnecessary difficulty. There's plenty of unnecessary difficulty to be had in this day and age. So it's nice to have a little moment or a document that'll help you dodge those moments. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff, zambonifunk.com. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. So this week, I gotta be real with you. It's pretty uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. So here's what we can see. I think last week I forgot to talk about Venus in Aquarius. So Venus has moved out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. That means that we've got Venus with Pluto, and that means we've got Venus opposite to Mars Mars retrograde in Leo. Mars has finally stationed retrograde and is now moving backwards. By the way, have you been outside to see Mars in the sky? Once the sun goes down, then Mars gets real bright and red in the sky. It's amazing. I don't necessarily like Mars retrograde significations, but man, to see it in the sky is dope. It's real worth checking out. So you should probably do that. It's very, very pretty. So Mars has stationed retrograde, and Venus is opposite to that. And so what we're seeing this week is Venus carrying the light in between Pluto and Mars. So we're doing more of this Mars-Pluto opposition, and Venus is up in there. So Venus is one of our benefics, one of the ones that sort of brings comfort and harmony and like relational stability, cooperation, all that sort of stuff. To see Venus opposite to Mars retrograde. So Mars is the aggression planet. Mars wants to do action, or can speak to anger or inflammation and that kind of thing. Mars retrograde is going to be like more Mars than before. It's not like Mercury retrograde, where it's like Mercury wants to do communication and then Mercury retrograde is miscommunication. And so Mars retrograde should be like unanger, like flip it on its head or something like that. That's not what happens with Mars. Mars just gets more grumpy than before under a Mars retrograde. This is Mars. Part of the reason why Mars is so pretty in the sky right now is because not only is it opposite to the sun and therefore up while it's dark outside, but then also it is closest to the Earth. This is like as close to the Earth as it ever gets. And so that adds to its brilliance in the sky as well. And so that means more Mars. That means a lot of Mars, right? Very aggressive, very ready to start a fight, ready to go to war about it in some kind of way, right? So Venus, who typically likes to cooperate or something like that, is now wrapped up in the Mars stuff. Now, Venus and Mars can agree on passion. They can agree on sexy things like lust and, let's get it sweaty and cardiovascular up in here. Let's do a little athletic performance. Let me be out of breath by the end of it. Venus and Mars can agree on that sort of thing. But, there's the fighting looks big this week. You know what I mean? It looks like the sort of situation where Venus, who wants to speak to comfort, really is not doing that very much. It looks like the sort of situation where there's a lot of beef, there's a lot of sort of disagreement about what's going on, and misunderstanding as well. We still got Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde, in fact, by the end of the week is going to be stationing. It's going to try to station direct and start to move forward again, right? So we're going to see, and so anytime Mercury moves quick, that's like wings on the feet, right? So Mercury, and on the hat too. Mercury is trying to move. So anytime Mercury is stationary, then it sort of intensifies the miscommunication or misdirection that happens, right? So we've got Mercury stationing direct at the same, or trine to Mars retrograde. So it's like the informational funny business is sort of fueling Mars being real upset about stuff and sort of messing up Venus's vibe. Venus under regular conditions would like to chill and be easy and cooperate. Venus in Aquarius, is maybe a little bit more aloof than a lot of Venus tends to like to be. This is Venus in a Saturn sign. I like Venus in Capricorn, which is the other Saturn sign. I like that because it's like practical and trying to do stuff. Venus in Aquarius is maybe a little like, I'm not messing with all y'all because it's y'all be tripping over here. And so I'm just gonna think thoughts and like feel ways about it and like be connected with the broader sphere of the world and this kind of thing, right? So already Venus is like a little more aloof than we might typically like. Then we add Pluto to the mix. Now we've got power moves going on. Now it's like a little bit of sort of rot or underworld dynamics happening at the same time. And we add Mars heat and inflammation and upset and rage and wartime dynamics and all that to it. So making friends is difficult under a sky like this. Building cooperative relationships is difficult under a sky like this. At the same time, we've got Jupiter and Saturn mutually applying to one another by square. Saturn is in the overcoming position. Saturn is ready to make that Jupiter more uncomfortable than Jupiter would otherwise be, and Jupiter is already pretty uncomfortable. So and Jupiter is the other benefic, the other one that tends to bring comfort and harmony and joy and this kind of thing, right? So what we're seeing here is that both of the benefics, the ones that we tend to like that bring comfort, are being maltreated by both of the malefics. And we've got Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde. One of the things I said last week was that this is a moment to reevaluate your strategy and your goals. Are they in alignment? Are your goals the thing that you actually want to be shooting at? And is your approach toward that goal actually moving you toward that goal? This is a great week to really lean into that reevaluation process. It's likely to be uncomfortable. You're likely to be in a certain amount of pain, discomfort, disharmony, dysregulation, all that sort of stuff, right? So whenever we can think about pain as a signal, right? Like if you're, one of my favorite examples of this is like the baby who doesn't realize that if he touches the red hot burner, which looks so cool, oh my God, it's glowing, this is amazing. So if he touches it, he doesn't realize that he's getting ready to get burned, right? And so when that burn happens, that pain signal is, yo, get your finger off the burner, my man, right? That's what's going on there, right? So if we're in a moment here this week where that burn is happening, where we're experiencing dysregulation or disharmony or problems or pain or something like that, and this is a moment where nothing is like the communication process isn't working properly, and like every time I say something then it like turns into a fight and we're like cross and nothing's working properly, right? Then maybe it's a time to reevaluate the system that's going on in general. Is the approach a good approach to get to the goal that we're trying to get to? Is this an appropriate goal? Should we even be shooting at this thing? Is it worth it to try to do that? Sometimes like one of the things that we'll notice with Saturn overcoming Jupiter, Saturn is the block, the obstacle, the challenge, right? And so Saturn is in the overcoming position. Saturn is more powerful than Jupiter is in this moment. So there's a sense of like, I want to expand and do the Jupiter fun harmony times, right? But can't. There's an obstacle in the way. And so there's a certain sense of like, am I going to be able to get over, under, or through this obstacle? Am I Grover about it? Or how important is it to get on the other side of that? Maybe there's something that could be cuter that would actually be over here instead of over there, right? And so this is a moment where we are likely to experience some discomfort, and maybe we can use this discomfort as a moment to be like, maybe I can do something else with my life, with my energy, with my attention, my focus. Maybe these aren't the relationships that I need to have. Maybe this style of relationship, maybe this relationship is in some parameters that aren't actually functional. Maybe there are other ways that we can do it, because I don't think this one is working out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Check y'all next time.